Okay. Good evening, folks. We're going to get started in just 1 second. Going to allow a couple seconds for attendees to join. All right. Good evening. Looks like we got a good amount of folks joining us now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start. Just to be respectful of everyone's time, I want to make sure we have enough time for Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. So welcome, folks, to AI Power Hour webinar brought to you by the Sacramento Valley Small Business Development Center. My name is Joseph Cordova. I'm the program manager with the Sacramento Valley SBDC, and I'll be your host for this session. A couple of housekeeping notes. This meeting is being recorded. You're going to receive a link to the recording and a follow-up email, as well as any handouts. We're going to make sure we get those attachments to you in the follow-up email. Please utilize the Q&A box. It's a little bit easier for us to keep track of the questions. If you utilize Q&A, feel free to use the chat. Sometimes it can get lost in the feed, but we'll make sure we try to monitor both. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. Okay, share screen. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the SBDC. There we go. All right. So, okay, welcome again, folks. Just a quick disclaimer, the information provided in this webinar and any supplementary materials provided to registrants are intended for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute professional, financial, or legal advice. And you'll get a copy of this as well in the follow-up, so you can kind of dig into the disclaimer. The SBDC, we're a national program with over 1,000 locations. We help to stimulate economic growth through business development. We're a proud resource partner of the SBA, serving 36 counties in the Northern California Regional Network. The Sacramento Valley SBDC, we serve Sacramento, Yolo, Sutter, and Yuba counties. So what do? We provide professional, no cost, no obligation, technical assistance, business consulting, training, resources, networking opportunities to area entrepreneurs and small businesses. Services include startup help, business plan, business structure, access to capital, financial management, bookkeeping, HR, social media, as we were hearing, AI for business, procurement, networking, pretty much anything you can think of to get your business to that next level. Our SBDC advisors can help you out at no cost. Extremely easy to sign up. You just visit our website, sacramentovalleySBDC.org. Click the red sign up button on the top of the page. It's a quick 5-minute virtual application. Once that sign up is complete, we can get the ball rolling on getting you connected to an advisor. We also highly recommend to sign up for our email newsletter and follow us on our social media platforms. You'll get up-to-date information that we feel is beneficial to the business community, as well as updates on trainings and whatnot that we're going to be offering in the future. So this is our basic information. Our director is Sue Yi Lee Alex. Our email info@sacramentovalleySBDC.org. Phone number is 916-655-2100. And our website, as I mentioned before, sacramentovalleySBDC.org. And with that, I want to throw it over to our teacher for tonight, our NorCal SBDC Regional Advisor, Kathy Ballett. All right, Kathy, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the AI Power Hour series. I'm so glad you're here. Today's session is Making Magic with AI in Canva. So thanks to Sacramento Valley SBDC for making this possible. Please put into chat. I would like to know how many people are already using Canva. If you're using it as a regular marketing tool, we're going to explore how Canva's AI tools can help you create marketing materials faster, scale your content, stay on brand, all without needing to be a designer. Again, Canva has a lot of capabilities. I'm not going to cover those, but I'm going to cover the AI functionality, and it's how you can really maximize the best out of Canva. So this session is 1 hour, about 50 minutes with a Q&A. So please drop your questions into chat, and Joseph will be watching for those. So as I mentioned, I'm Kathy Ballett. I'm a regional AI specialist and marketing advisor. So let's get started. So we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be in Canva Pro, and so you'll see some features today. And I'll log on. I'm not there yet, but you're going to see some features marked with the crown icon. And whenever you see that, that means I'm using the shared plan. Just go ahead and start sharing my screen now. I'm going to share this first. But whenever you see this, like the brand, and you see that crown icon, that's that's indicating that it's the paid plan. You don't need to upgrade to try most of today's demos, but you will whenever you see the crown icon, and that does occur too on some of these. That said, there's only a couple of tools I feel are really massively important for you especially in your marketing, and Canva is one of them. What you can do with this, you used to have to pay people thousands and thousands of dollars to do, so it is so worth it. So unlike general purpose, I'll move this out of the way. Unlike general purpose tools, let me get over here just to Canva in general. Unlike general, and this is just going to go to my home screen. This is what I'm looking at. Canva isn't an AI tool. It's a design tool with AI built into it. And that means it's more focused on marketing, but also more powerful when it comes to visuals and content creation. So like I said, this isn't so much a Canva class, but I'm going to focus on the AI tools. So if you are newer to Canva, you can really see what the power of it is. So here's the handout that you're going to get from today too, and I'm going to cover all of these. So specifically AI capabilities in Canva, some of the general ones to be able to write, create images, create whole designs, video, and even code. I have not tried it for code, so I have no idea how it works, but some things I find it's better than others, and I'll talk about those as we go along. And then this is going to cover the Magic Media panel, which is once you're inside a design. And again, you'll see all of this. So this is really just for you. What they call Magic Switch. They already changed this. I had to go back and change my presentation today because they made new changes in Canva. One of them is that they aren't calling it Magic Switch. You just directly go to translate or transform. And even transform, they changed the name, but I will show you that. And then Magic Studio, AI image editing tools. That's going to be the pro version only also. So background remover, background generate, some image stuff like that. And this is just for those of you who are not using Canva regularly, or those of you who are only using it a little bit, just to give you some ideas of what are all the kind of things that you can be doing in Canva. Because I know a lot of people are doing things like flyers and posters and business cards, but they haven't really thought about other things, especially things such as you can create your YouTube thumbnails, you can create video promos and intros, and they are pretty good. And I'm going to cover that when we get to the video workshop. So let's now go right into Canva. And before we get into, I have 5 different segments to show you today. But before we dive into those AI demos, I want to show you one of the best things you can do to set up in Canva, and that's your brand. And if you notice, this does have a crown on there. So you do have to have the paid version for this. And now just to clarify, the brand kit isn't an AI tool itself. But it works with Canva's AI. So when you have this built, it works better for you. So this is where you have a brand kit. And I have, for example, one here that shows, the colors, it has fonts. It has, this one, I think, does not have the brand voice. I have 2 different accounts I'm working with today. So but so this is really helpful for having all of those kind of things in here. So you can even create this. So let's say, for example, I wanted to create my brand voice. Use confident, friendly, use be positive, not be, don't use more than, oh, this is what I have in there. Like I said, I have 2 accounts, so it gets a little confusing. I'm just going to go ahead and close that. We don't need that right now. So anyways, if you have your brand kit, this is really important, creating all of these things, because it's what's going to pull from AI. AI is going to use this later, and it will help you stay on brand as well. So your logo, your brand fonts, as you can see, so that your color palette, all the colors that you're using, and you can have more than one brand. This is a second brand that I have in there. So And then you can even create sample content, things to help you help Canva learn your brand voice. So once all of that's in, um, you'll see these some of these options come up later on in Canva's AI tools, and where you can apply your brand kit or use your brand voice. And that's where I said that having this build out first is going to really help you. Okay, it's especially helpful if you're managing kind of multiple channels or working with a team. All of these things, are going to keep it consistent without having to copy and paste the same colors, because you can work without a brand kit. It just makes it that much more powerful, and it easily pays for itself. So let's go ahead and get started with what I would call the AI tour here. So there are three ways you're going to see what the AI capabilities are in Canva. One is before you start anything, and that's going to be things like this little Canva AI down there. Once you are in a specific document, so if I go here and I create, I'm going to go ahead and let's just create a document. There's going to be additional things. You're going to see these. You see this little magic, these little starry, the icons on there. So we've got magic right there. We've got magic media down here. So it's going to change. So we're going to have three situations here in with AI. So one, before you create anything, where you're going to see some AI, and that's going to be to help you get started. Two, where you're going to have some things once you create a document. You can see my document, there may be nothing in it, but it is a document there. And that's going to be things to help you start populating and work on some of the things that you're doing. And then the third one is going to be, let me close this one, I'll leave that open. The third one is once you have a design, some other things. So when I'm clicking on the image, I'm going to get certain features come up. So this is going to be an AI feature, for example. So again, let me just cover that because this is a really important concept to get, and I am going to cover these detail. Before you start anything, it's like helping you try to jumpstart getting, moving forward with something. Number two is you're in a design. I created a document, and now there are going to be some other similar things, but there's going to be some more things that pop up, and there are going to be different things that pop up once I have a design and I click on an image or I click on text. There will be more. So I'm going to walk through that today. All right, so let's go start with the first area here, where we are going to just start right from our homepage. And so we're gonna go through this one by one. And again, this is just thinking about what ways you can start with AI. And there are several things. When you click on the Canva AI, this is the Canva AI panel, here are your 5 options. So you can have a design, so it's going to create general layouts and templates from a prompt, an actual image, so like a photo, a graphic, the text, so generate social posts, product descriptions, emails, code, which I'm not going to cover today, but you could build interactive elements like quizzes and calculators with this. And then video, you could also create video clips, add transitions, voiceovers, and things like that. I'm not going to cover this because I'm going to cover Canva very specifically in the AI for video workshop. So we are going to come back and do that one later. So for that reason, I'm going to completely ignore that today, other than pointing out that it is there. And if you notice the crowns, the crown is there on the video clip, but it is available, with the free version for these. So what do I mean? Just to give you an idea. From a design, I might say Instagram posts for Capital Blooms promoting 20% off fall bouquets this weekend. So it's a complete design. It's a complete thing I want. And I'm going to just tell it to go ahead and start creating this for me. So it can give you layout options for all sorts of things, but this is like a one click. As long as I tell it what I am doing, Instagram post, it will start creating something for me. And there we go. Things that I can immediately start using. We've got 1 out of 3, so we've got those. Perfect. So other things going there. All right, and actually, I'm just going to open up a few different. Yeah, let's go ahead and create again. I prefer to have multiple open just so I can bounce back and forth through things. Okay, so here I am again, back on the home page, and I'm going to click Canva AI, and there's my create an image option. And oh, and I should show you with this one too. You know, this is where some of these things might come into play where I have my brand, and there's colors there. But if I hit my brand kit, go back. Use Canva editor. This is where I can start using my brand kit. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work that well. It's not working that well. It's not giving me shuffling because sometimes it's set and it won't. So I won't get stuck on that. There are some things in Canva that work really well and some things not quite as well. But anyway, at least you can see where you have some options and some of them could be potentially pretty helpful if you like them. The biggest challenge with using the designer and the reason why I don't use it much is because even though I could try to keep this more on brand, it it's still it's not designed with that specifically in mind. It's designed using whatever template they create. So image, let's start with creating an image. And this one, I'm going to turn a short description into, into a custom image. And I'm going to say I'm using the flower theme, as you can see. So watercolor style image of Sacramento flower shop with pumpkins on the sidewalk. And I can, choose how, large it's going to be. So depending what my format is, I can even tell the style over here. And we are going to have a very specific class on images to AI for images. But I'm still going to give you a little bit of a taste of this today because some of the image stuff I won't use Canva much for that. So here we have some really good examples, and this said what was watercolor, so that's looking pretty darn good to me. I think they've gotten a little bit better. Here you can see some funky thing going on there, right? With the text. And often when you see text, that's one of the big things, something weird flower shop. But you could easily edit that out. And I'm going to show you how to do that too with some of these tools. So, and if you notice, you got 4 visuals here. So this is a really great option if you're using Canva and you just need to generate some things and throw them into your design. Okay, let's go back and this time I'm going to hit, oh, there's presentation there. I'm not going to show you that right now, but there's, oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong, there we go. So we got design for me. This changed again. This is crazy how much this keeps changing. It's already changed from the last time I've used it, and I've just been updating it. I've been updating this today, in fact, and it's been changing. And so the main focus is not to know exactly how things are, but to know the functions of what you can do is the most important thing. All right. So where did that go? Oh, I might be in a different area. That's why. Canva AI. I'm in the right place. All right. So you have these things that you can just start doing. Canva, let's get out of there. Again, click back in there and it'll give you some ideas, help you think about what you're doing, what you want to design. Okay. Like I said, let me see if I can get back to the one that's the code. And go back here. There it is. For some reason, it's not showing, I'm not able to get back in there. But actually, let me show you even draft a document so that you can see this a little bit more. And because this is a helpful one too, if you want to generate like social media posts, product descriptions, emails, this can be a helpful way. Keep in mind that Canva is built for marketing. It is purely a marketing platform, so it can be really great for doing this. And I'm just showing you getting started here. We're going to put it all together later. So I did an Instagram caption for Capital Bloom's 3-day fall flower sale, and it gives me some ideas there with the hashtags, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and then let's go through code one time. And this is a little interesting thing you can do, which is create a quiz to help choose the perfect bouquet based on a customer's mood. Let's just say that. And let's see what we get there. So again, these were the 5, and I'm not going to create, there we go. Crazy, right? You know, this is a new feature that they've created to create a little quiz. I'm not even sure, how the best way of using this is at this point, but it's nice and handy. So we've got a bunch of different things here, again, just going back to here first, to do, and I'm not going to show you how to create a video clip again because we're going to cover that later. Okay, so first step, you can do this. I don't normally do this. So it's helpful though if you are looking at a blank page and you don't know where to start. I usually go into create and I choose what I want to do first. So I would say, what do I want? I want a YouTube banner. And this is where I would normally start. So I choose the format that I want and then I start working. So when you do it this way, what you're going to see here is a little bit different. You're going to see Magic Media here. And if you notice with Magic Media, you still have images, graphics, and videos. So you can still create something. I can put in the exact same kind of prompts and just a flower shop storefront with pumpkins and in front, watercolor style, right? So very similar to the last one. And it's just going to create it. So, you can choose. This would be the way like I said, I prefer to work, but either one works just fine. Okay, see results. And the difference is it comes up like this, and then you place them. Right. So then I'm going to choose and I'm going to start working on that and placing it. If you notice, it didn't specifically size this to fit it or anything like that. It works very much the same as the last thing. The only thing that's a little different about this is that it specifically says, if you notice, graphics, which are going to be kind of some other types of, if you want to do little icons, if you want to do something else. And I will do an autumn style flower icon in a flat modern style. Let's see what we get for that. And again, in Magic Media, the other thing that it can create is videos, which we'll cover at a later point. And there we go. So I could create something and have a little, if I'm doing a little poster or a postcard, I mean, or something like that, let's just say I have something like that and I can start putting it all together now. Okay, other things I can do when I've started my design, when I've just got it, I've created the basic and I want to start adding things. Some other features in here, one that we are also not going to cover. Let's see if I can find that in here. Sorry, my thing is right in the way. Um, let's click on this first. And I am looking for something I am not seeing. So let me try again. Let's try creating this. Okay, we've got our Magic Media there, got our projects. Oh, and there it is saying Magic Switch now. That's funny. It disappeared on me earlier, but so that's good because the handout that I gave you will be exactly right. Okay, well, if I so those are going to be the main things for actually building it. So you can build, your your document with that. But then you can start working on the components. So here's, for example, one that I have in place that is already ready, right? I've put all of my components here. This is text. I've got a little background box. I've got an image that I've placed here. And so how can I work better with this, for example? So this is where I can start thinking about some of the other advanced features of AI. And let me show you these. These are really extremely powerful because like this picture here is actually, first of all, it's this picture. But I brought it in through just using the library, the image library. So I looked it up. You can see where I did this. Let me just show you how to do that if you're not familiar, which is I went to Elements and I put in AI. Oh, gosh, I don't know. I put in network, something like that. And you're going to see there was a lot of different photos. In fact, I could change some if I didn't like that and get some other things. That's actually a video, not a photo. But I could have a lot of other things in there. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the one, undo that, and just go back to the one I have. And I'm going to show you some of these abilities. The first one is just simply background remover. If I don't like what I've got, I can do background remover. And it's going to get rid of some things. So you can see where it got rid of the color is what it identified as the background. It all depends on what it is, right? You know, some things are going to be very different for what it says is the background. I'm looking for another good example here. Let's just try it on here. Let's try the background remover and see what it does there. It's pretty, it was too much. It wasn't able to do that. It's too much. So oh, or did I do it on there? If I do the background remover on there, it should be pretty easy. Didn't work. So again, sometimes it's a little bit more hit or miss with some of the things that it does. I'm going to undo this because I don't really want that to get rid of the background. But let's say let's find a better example of one with a background that I don't want. You know, let's see how it does with this one. Simple background remover. Oh, that one worked really well, right? So, and I can move this over and all of a sudden I have something without the background. So again, with the background versus without the background. And all of these tools for editing your image, I'm clicking on here, but they're also under here. So if you click edit, this is where you're going to see your Magic Studio. And so again, let me just show you that one more time. Go back and undo this. I click on the image first, and this is the trick. And then I click image, edit, and now I have all these things. Now I have the background remover. Now I have what's called a background generator. And so the generator can actually create a new scene for your image. So, you know, let's go back and put in a different picture there. Let me see if I can go back to sorry, it's a little thing you have to double click and then drag it over to do that, to be able to do that. So if I click on this and now I'm going to click edit and I click background generator, I could say like, again, mountain scene. I don't know how well this is going to work. It's not a photo. So let's see. Sometimes you just don't know until you try it. And the real trick is that AI keeps changing. All of this, like I said, what I want you really get out, there we go. But it did a pretty good job. But if you notice, it looks more like a photo. I could have said, let's try that again. Cartoon, um, cartoonish mountain scene. Let's try that. Let's see how that goes. Let me undo that. Go ahead and hit edit, background generator, and I'll put cartoonish mountain scene. And let's see how it comes up this time. And let's give it a second. It didn't do it. So sometimes, again, sometimes some things will, sometimes they won't. And this one tends to work better with photos, but at least it gives you an idea of how this is going to work, and you don't know, and it keeps changing. So let's go through the magic eraser. Let's say I'm going to keep this there. This is kind of fun. Maybe I actually like this, and I like having the kind of cartoonish people in there over a more realistic looking mountain. Actually, I like that one. That's better. So now I'm going to use something again. I'm going to click on it, click on edit, and I'm going to see, let's see, there's my magic eraser where I can click on something I don't want. Let's say I don't like this and I don't like that. And let's hit erase. And what this does is again, this is a great AI tool. It didn't do so well with that. It did really well with this one, right? This one must have been too difficult for it to do. But I could go back and try it again. And the first one, it did pretty well. So anyway, again, edit, magic eraser, choose what you don't like, and erase. And it will get rid of some things. Okay, that one was a lot better again. There's some fuzzy edges there. So, so you just, again, you try it and figure what you want. And I could go ahead and erase it again and keep trying to get it a little bit better as well. So there are some options like that. But the main thing is magic eraser, again, out of that, that's removing some of the things in the image that you don't want. Okay, Magic Grab allows you to take some objects or subjects within an image and move them around while adjusting layers. So it's kind of an interesting one. So it should give me some ideas of things that I can move. Now, let me go back because this is just a little bit more of a complex image, and I want to go back to the original in this case. Let's go there. I think that'll be better to work with to show this point. So I'm going to go back to Magic Grab, and you can see what happens as I hover over things. That one, though I only hovered over that. Let's try this. There we go. I was actually able to select the eye. And when that happens, I can click Grab, and I can start moving this. So, or changing it even, which is what's happening there. I'm going to put on this, there, move over there. There was a little bit of a remnant there, which was a bit awkward. But I could space more of these AI, and I could come back and use the magic erase over that. So I would get rid of that line. But if I thought there wasn't enough space between the A and AI, or maybe I like that, that's kind of cool looking with the little line there. And I've got a little bit more space. So that's called magic grab. Grab text, by the way, I'm going to do something a little bit different for this one. I'm going to take this image, and this time I'm going to click edit, because this is purely an image. Though it has text, it's purely an image. And I'm going to hit grab text. So this one's going to be just slightly different. And now I can do something with the text. Again, I can grab the text. This is really helpful. Let's say you have an image that you uploaded, but it's the text in it isn't really text. And now I can do this. Maybe I would say this needs to be a little bit larger, and I can instantly make that a little bit larger. So it's selected the text very specifically, and is allowing me to work with it. So interesting tool on that part too. Again, that one was, I clicked edit and I clicked onto grab text for that. Okay, Magic Edit is kind of interesting. It actually allows you to, let's see if I can get a better one for this. It actually allows you to select something and change it out. So let's see if I can change the pumpkins out. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say, let's put Christmas wreaths and see how that turns out. Again, I'm not exactly working in a photo. This is more of a watercolor. So sometimes some of the results, and again, you just have to play around and figure out what's really working well. But it did a pretty good job, right? Of putting a Christmas wreath. It just did one, but it gives me different options. And all of a sudden, if I really wanted to, I could go ahead and change all my pumpkins to Christmas wreaths, and I could have the same image. It's a little bit of a large Christmas wreath, but and I had said wreaths, but again, this is how it's reading it, and you keep trying, and there we give four options. This is amazing, and I've worked with Adobe Photoshop for years, and the amount that you have to pay to be able to do that is crazy. So being able to do this is insane. And then let's say, for example, let's go ahead and finish this. If you notice, this one's a little bit longer, as I mentioned. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to keep my Christmas wreath there. And this is one other last one under here I want to show you, which is Magic Expand. And this is where you can, I'm just going to keep it on see, free form. And I'm going to make it larger. And let's just see how it goes. This is a lot larger, so it might have a hard time doing it, but it's fun. It's neat to be able to try these things and see exactly how they work. Usually I would use this more for something where, again, so it's going to be it created something very different because it was a lot of space. So let's go back. Let's hit cancel on that. And let's just see whoops, I'm going to hit, again, there, edit, Magic Expand, and I'm going to keep it on freeform. And I'm just going to grab the edge a little bit there. And all I'm going to do is expand it that much and try to do that. Because sometimes you have images that are great, but they don't quite fit your purpose. And I'm still going to show you how to deal with that too. It did something. It wasn't great, right? It wasn't the best option. If I did it, yeah, let's leave it at that for now because it can get better. But if you notice, it has these funny little edges anyways. So that's going to probably be harder for this one with this one to work anyways, versus if it was an image. So if I went back and there we go. So let's go back with this one and put this. This is another watercolor. Looks a little bit more realistic. But anyways, so I could try it on this end. We could try different options with this. All right. And we can come back if we want to with, because here's another little trick that you can do is I'm double clicking, and this is a very specific. So I'm gonna show you that again. I double click and I get Smart Crop. And here I can actually crop the image. Um, so Smart Crop is deciding where it should crop it, right? And it went right to the side. I can change this. So if I really just wanted it to be this big, I can do that. But the Smart Crop is just an extra function. Again, I double click and it comes up there. Interestingly enough, so it's just helping me say, okay, well, how big do I want that? And then I can change that as well. So that would be another way I could work with this is actually cropping it. Maybe I don't crop it exactly as a square. Maybe I crop it some other way. This is free form. So I could say I'm going to crop it, different ways and find out where I want this to fit in my image. Okay, let's move over to something else. Let's just say that I finally get to what I want. I win my Christmas and I've got my, um, Halloween stuff there. And the other thing that is next that I really want to show you is AI text creation and editing, because creating text is a really helpful next step. And maybe we'll move over to a new one. One second, let me move up here. We'll stick with this one. So over here is where we have the text. If you don't see something, just make sure to scroll up or scroll down. There is stuff there that sometimes are hard to see. So I could click on text, and when you see text there, there's the magic write box, which is just like the part that I showed you in the beginning. Actually, just for fun, I'm going to go back to this one and just say, I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm going to create, I'll go back on text, and I'm going to do magic write, and I'm going to tell it about what I want. So I'm going to say, give me a short paragraph that says something about SBDC's AI services available for small businesses. And it's going to give me a little thing here. Great. And I can insert that directly. Let's change the font to one of my document colors. If I resize it, it'll resize there with me. Great. So I can just take it from there. Just always read what AI creates and make sure it fits your brand. It's really, really important. I could even come back and say, let's do another magic write. And let's say this time, a short paragraph about contacting SBDC to book your appointment. Let's go ahead with that. And again, I could do the same thing. I could do insert there, get rid of this one. Maybe I like this one better. Interesting that that one did black this time. I wonder if that was because I had black selected. Let's say I like that better. So I'm just going to put that there. But I didn't have, so it's going to help me write pretty effectively. And this is connected that it's, though it's AI, it's actually not theirs. They are using Dolly. They are using other tools, which is really amazing. So, and when I click on this, if I click on the, you're going to see this magic pen come here, and there's magic write again. And this is going to give me a few other things to transform the text. I could say, make this more concise. And it's going to rework it. And I'm going to say, yes, I like that. And if you notice, it shrunk it down a little bit. So there are ways of doing that. So the text stuff in there is excellent too. So again, just keep that in mind. You've got your magic write, but also once you've written it, you've got this tool here that allows you to do other things. So transform, rewrite, fix spelling, anything like that, shorten, continue writing, more formal, it's just some ideas. Okay, so once you have a design that you like, I'm going to go back to the beginning of this design. Once you have a design you like, there's some other AI tools that will allow you to repurpose your design, and I just want to cover those. The first one is translating, and this is so we've got two things. We've got translating. Let me see where I can find my translate, and we've got I don't think it's under there. We've got translate and we've got resizing. Actually, let's start with the resizing. So once you've got a design you like, if you want to do some other things, you can always resize it. So I can take this and I could say, what is the resize I want? I can go to a custom size. I can choose any kind of type of things. Let's say I want to make this into a flyer. And I can just start hitting flyer. I find it easier than doing that. There's flyer landscape or flyer portrait. So I'm going to copy and resizing it. So it's not going to get rid of my original image. It's going to create another one. You can see that's in real estate because that's what I originally created it in. And here's what it created. It's not the best. It didn't create it exactly at that size, right? It's hesitant sometimes to resize things. So if I wanted to do something and I wanted this to come over to here, I still have to do some of it manually. And that's kind of normal with some of this. I mean, it is an amazing tool, but I could at least do this and I could be at the start of my flyer instantly, right? And then let's see. So we've got this, we've got our editing. And I'm just looking for some other options here. I'm having a hard time finding my translate today. Translate, which is weird. If I just open this up, I'm just going to try one other one because my text isn't showing it there. It is here, and I'm having a hard time finding it. So, because there is an instant quick actions, let's try this. So you have this down here, which is quick actions, and I'm going to put translate. And let's do the translate. No, that I don't want an image. I want to translate. Let's try the translate subtitle and see if that gets me where I'm going. It's not working. Oh, I don't like it when these things don't work into the things I'm trying to do. I know it's here somewhere, but I swear like all this stuff is just kind of changed on me. It's really crazy. So not finding it. Anyways, I will come back to that if I can find it as we do the Q&A. So I just want to run through this one more time so that I really show you all of the things you can do. So first we started off with when you hit create and you're creating something before you ever create something new. Let me just get back into the regular place here. So you're on the main screen and you've got your Canva AI, which is all of your magical stuff here, just to create designs right from the beginning. And then once you have opened a document, you start seeing other things pop up. And this is where you have your magic, right? Right, there's the translate. Why did it not show up on the other one? Let's see if I can pull that in. See how it's under resize right now. They go into this one has text. So that's why I'm not understanding why it's not showing up. Let's put it over here and see if I can get it. Okay. Don't worry about what's in there, the language. The main thing is I'm going to put in another language here. And this is just what my instructions were, but I want to show you that how easy it does that. Open document, it creates it in a new document, and it put it right into Spanish. So you can do anything in Spanish in here if you can just figure out where to do it. Because it's under magic switch, right? Which is, like I said, translate and transform. But yet when I was in here, I was having a hard time finding it. I was having difficulty. So anyways, back to the whole thing, your first part, of creating your options was the designs, all of those things. The second thing, once you have this, you start seeing other options. So you start seeing magic right in there. You start seeing that you can do other things. You've got your magic media where you can still create images, graphics, and video. And then as you build, you can start doing things with your images. And the easiest way of doing this is click on the image, click edit. You'll still see background remover, but you're going to see all the tools here for your image that you can do. And then when you click on your text, you can start also, again, you've got your magic right comes up again, and you can start working on that. And then the final bits were coming in and taking an image and resizing it. So you hit resize, change it to whatever size you want so you can repurpose. Some sizes work really well, some not as well. You saw this one wasn't perfect. And then translate, although I had a hard time getting to translate for some reason. Yeah, I didn't have a problem going to it over in Magic Switch. I just pulled it in there and I was able to hit translate. Transform is just another way of saying that it's going to be repurposed into something else. So just another way. Whew. That one was difficult. Sometimes things change. Like I said, I got into this morning and a number of things had already changed. So just know those are the ways that you can work with this. Those things won't go away, but they do keep switching around how they work within Canva. So let's open it up to questions. Joseph, any questions?
Okay, so nothing in Q&A as of yet. So folks, go ahead and utilize that. In chat, it looks like there is a comment. Are all the images in Canva royalty free? Question mark. How do you know? Question mark.
So it's always that sign, and I'm just going to put another one in here and just show you because we haven't, like I said, for some reason I was having a problem with magic switch in the other one, and I'm going to magic switch this one, translate, and do this one to French while we're doing it, just so you can see it working. And it's going to replace the page. There we go. You do not have all of the images. Though you can create images with AI in this tool, and so if you notice, whenever I do that, I've got the original, and then it's got the one in French. So if I want to put in images, and this is under elements, and I want to look up, I'm just going to look up an AI graph, AI design, whatever, and I want to put this in there and work with this. The key here is that see this crown here that I used? This one is paid. There are ones that are not paid. So sometimes finding them, like these ones are not. So it does not have the crown, so anybody can use these. So if you do not have the paid version, you can still find things. Though chances are you're probably going to find, oh, here's the one I use, right? That has a crown on it too. So there's going to be some ones that you're, again, but the price for what you pay for having this amazing library is tremendous. Same thing with videos. You're going to see some with the crown down here, which means they're only available to the paid version. Yet they still have, even here, video. This video is um, can be used for the free version. So that's the trick, is just look for the crown and you know what has to be paid for and what doesn't. All
Okay,
right,
so
next question.
So what did you click to create the quiz when you did that previously?
So that one was under code. And so that was at the very beginning. And let me go back here. So this was from the 0 point where I started off nothing here and I hit code it for me. So it just wants to know what my idea is and it will allow me coder. I even clicked on it and will give me some ideas of other kind of things. So, so again, here are the things you can design, image, draft a document, code, and create a video clip. And let me see if I can find, because I do have my document here um, of the prompt that I used to do that, if I can find it. Just so you can see what I did. But you can ask it to do, I did one on flower blooms. And, this is a really cool idea just to be able to do that. But you could do quizzes, kind of like calculators. So this was the one I did. I could even be more specific and help create a quiz to help you choose the perfect fall bouquet based on their mood. And I could redo that again. And there we go. Something like that. You can easily do this kind of thing in ChatGPT and stuff like that too. So it's not, but it's amazing. There is so much functionality, AI functionality within Canva. And again, it's really good functionality. It just all tends to be marketing oriented, which is great. Canva knows it's a marketing platform, and all of the AI that it tries to build are just trying to help it support that ability to be really good marketing. Again, probably the most worthwhile marketing tool out there. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, so do you happen to know how much the Canva Pro subscription is at this point?
But $20 a month.
Okay.
So yes, it should be, pretty good. And again, this isn't an answer engine. This isn't, this is about helping create marketing. So if I wanted to answer that question, um, my usual answer to that is actually going to be to go to Perplexity. I'll just open up a new instance of Perplexity. And just let's make sure, how much is Canva Pro a month? And we can just see what that comes up with. I love Perplexity before being an answer. It's generally $12.99, although some sources says 15. The most widely for 2025, $12.99. Oh, that's crazy. Versus yearly price. We could check it out. We could just, they're very visible, about 120 per year. That's insane. That's just really, really good. So monthly plan, is this the price as of October 2025? And so I'm trying to make sure I got really good information here. Perplexity is pretty good at keeping updated, but it's just minor variations, blah, blah, blah. Regional differences or rounding, yes, which makes sense depending on where you're going to be, but for US users. So it's super worthwhile.
All right. So we have another comment in the chat. When you pull in an image, so the words that you use to kind of search for an image in Canva, does that become a part of your SEO if you use that on a website?
No, because it doesn't have anything to do with with what you do on your website. This isn't connected with that. And when you just because you use an image, let's say you create an image, and Canva's a little bit different. You can, like, let's say I want to pull up an image. Um, Let me just start. First of all, it doesn't just start with images. It starts with the design. So it's a little different with Canva. It's not an image creator. All of these things, if you notice, I've got designs there. It's creating a document which has the design. So then I can go to elements and I can see, like let's say I want to put in fall pumpkins and flowers, since I was, really talking about a flower shop. And I've got some really nice images there, right? So I can take this, but this has nothing to do with anything for what I'm going to use. Like if I'm going to put this, let's say I'm going to use this in my website. First of all, this is a document. It's not an image. I could size it and I can use the, download it so I can use it as more of an image, but it's not created for that. It's more created for those things that you're going to do. So let me just go back to the beginning here. So think of Canva as this is what you're creating. And yes, it can do things website wise. I haven't seen really good functionality for that for various reasons. But you're going to be able to create your social media posts. You're going to create, all of the different things. And it's up to you to make sure that the words that you use are going to be best for search engine optimization and things like that. Again, this is designed to use photo editors so I can pull in my photos. But when it does that, it's not trying to be, I manage all my photos here. It's trying to be, I'm going to work on my photos so that I can create good materials, right? So I can take different things and I can create things that will be really helpful to do next. I have multiple, look at this, an eight-page document in here, created pretty nice and easily. Here's a flyer in here. So we've got a lot of different stuff going on. Virtual Business Summit 2025. So all these different things that are working extremely just magically well, but that's what Canva is designed for, is the creating of the materials themselves. That's why, like I said, when you go to this home and you start off and you don't have anything yet and you click on this, it's helping you say, what am I going to do? What design? Yes, it can create an image, but it's mostly thinking about that image. So, what are you going to do with that image is typically the point. And because even when you do a social media post, usually you aren't just creating an image, you might have work, text on it, you might have other things on it too. But very powerful AI for here.
All right. So, a final question that we have loaded up is Canva better at text on a picture, other than some other AI tools that you've seen?
I think it's the best, easiest to use tool. I use Photoshop and I use the whole AI, I mean the whole Adobe suite. So I have you know all there are some really great AI tools in Adobe. If I open up my screen for this, you'll see I even have, is this it? It's lunch break. I have, oh, there it is. I have a tab just for Adobe, and there's Adobe Firefly. I don't have them all open up here right now, but I do use the whole Adobe collection, and it is phenomenal. But it's also more advanced. And for what you get for the cost, this thing is not cheap for me to subscribe to Adobe. It's a lot more expensive, and the amount that you get, what you get for this, is definitely worthwhile. Like I said, when we get to it, next week we have AI for social media, and then I think we have AI for images. And I'm not going to show images so much in here. I wanted you to see the AI because what you can do is you can pull your images in here, for example, and you can do all these amazing things as well as create great images. The biggest overlooked thing um, about I think Canva is how many wonderful things you already have, right? I can already pull in all sorts of elements. I can pull in, their library is insane how many things they have. So yes, a lot of them have the crown, but I could find ones that don't have the crown. Um, and I can pull in so much stuff in here that I often prefer to do that. And I work with AI. I often prefer to do that versus starting with an AI image. I find it actually to be more powerful a lot of times, right? So I might instead start with this image. And then if I don't like the fact that it says chat AI, well, now I can go ahead. I showed you how to edit that, right? Now I can click on it. Whoops. Now I can click on it, edit, and change that. So maybe it says SBDC AI. I can start, that's a little bit harder to do because it has to match, so I shouldn't use that as an example. But I can do that to some degree, and start reworking this. So you've got a lot of very powerful. Best bang for the buck is Canva. That's my answer to that.
All right. And there was one last comment that came in. If you bring in a photo or image to Canva, can someone steal it?
No, no, this is not shared. This is not like, I know why you're saying that, because AI, right? You work on something in AI and you're worried about it being picked up. This is not function that way. If I put a picture in here, so I do uploads, and you'll see there's a lot of uploads, right? This also created the images of the ones I just created right now. But there, I have pictures of some people, in some of our advisors in this, plus other images. These are not available for anybody to do anything with. So there's not an issue at all with that. Really, probably the bigger issue for your images are the fact that they're just on the internet. And some of the tools are just out there scraping the imagery from that, but not through Canva. Not worried about that at all.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's it for the questions. We're at time, folks. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to Kathy, as always. So we hope you'll join us next week. We also will be sending out the recording as well as this document as well. So you're going to get that in a follow-up email. So just want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Kathy, would you like to say a few words before we sign off?
Great seeing everybody. And so a couple of things is to Look at the in the folder, you're going to see this document, so you can download this and go through some of the functions. If you are wanting to do your mission for this week, then my main thing would be to try using a couple of the functions that are in the AI tools that are in here. Create a document specifically using some of the AI. Again, don't worry about the video yet. We're going to get to that because we're going to build a video completely with Canva AI. So if you're not convinced about Canva now, wait till you take the video stuff. So,
All
all
right,
right. Well, thank
sounds
you,
good.
Joseph.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Look out for that email. All right, have a good one.
See everybody.